Yo. Welcome back to another Over the Top podcast, another Over the Top Tuesday. Thank you for joining us. I'm Brandon.
I'm Nick.
I'm Chris, also known as Val and Valentino.
My guy Valentino is joining us today. And for the rest of the pod, actually, we're adding a new co-host. Juan isn't out. We didn't have any fights or anything. Juan is in Florida having a good time, chilling, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to my guy. We love you. But yeah, there's going to be 4 people on the pod this week. Or not this week, just going forward. So we have a pretty even amount of people. And then we have pretty even points of view. Chris, do you want to let them know your affiliations, even though it's pretty obvious?
Yeah, I'm a Liverpool supporter for the last 15 years or so. Played ball with all these guys over here. So, yeah, I'm happy to be here. It's going to be a good time.
And I'll refrain from using the word Scouser as much as I can. You know what I'm saying? Just in the
Only in terms of endearment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's good to see you guys, man. How you doing? How's everybody doing?
Man, good.
Good?
It's good.
I'm feeling good.
Working. Happy to be off.
Mm-hmm.
I feel you. I'm working on Saturdays now, so didn't enjoy that. But, such is life. We got the pod today, so it's a good time.
It makes Sunday that much better.
You feel me? Speaking of Sunday, Premier League Sunday. We got a big one this week. We got a big fixture. We added Val to the pod at the right time.
Yeah, you're going to get some live reactions regarding this Liverpool-Arsenal game. It's pretty big, so we'll
want to give some picks before
what you call a title decider. A little earlier.
Yeah,
you truly believe so?
I do. If you could get 3 points away at Anfield, you could win the title. And that's been Arsenal's kryptonite these last couple seasons. They haven't won at Anfield in years. It's been seasons, so it's going to be a battle for sure. I mean, I'm obviously rooting for Liverpool, but
there's a lot of resting on them.
Arsenal have a lot of pressure on them. Let's see if they can get it done.
We have picks. I know your pick. What's your score?
My score prediction.
Yeah.
My heart is telling me 3-1 Liverpool, but it could very well be 3-1 Arsenal. It really depends what Liverpool team decides to show up today.
I was just thinking the same thing. Is it the 7-0 Manchester United or the 6-0 Manchester City?
I believe that they exhausted the rest of their goals for the season in that game. they used everything up, bro.
No, I mean, they got some serious problems, but Klopp's the man to address them. And if anybody doesn't believe that Klopp is the one, then I don't think they're real fans.
I see that. But what's your scoreline prediction?
I want to say I would like to see 2-0 Arsenal.
I was just gonna say 2-1 Arsenal. I think they pull that out. I think they score first, Liverpool hits back, and the crowd goes crazy, and then Arsenal does what they've done the rest of the season and just finds a way to get it out.
That would be nice. There's a lot of pressure on this game, though. Arteta loves to hype up that Anfield atmosphere. If you watch that All or Nothing documentary, but Anfield's always been a troubling place for them, so it's gonna be exciting for sure.
Yeah, Trent starting though.
Oh Lord,
coming against Martinelli.
Yeah,
I changed my scoreline.
He got dropped last game against the 0-0 draw against Chelsea, so I'm hoping that's Trent's sign that he needs to really step it up, otherwise his spot is not safe. Nobody's spot in this Liverpool team should be safe after this season. It's just been...
No, not even Mohamed?
No, I mean...
He's been pretty consistent. Not consistent, but he's the only...
Right, but when you think of Mo Salah, you think of top 3 in the Prem. Has he been a top 3 player in the Prem this year?
I mean, he's still your brightest spot. He probably still has over 10 Premier League goals at this point, right?
Right, but when you just gave him that hefty contract over the summer to be paid like a top player. Now, do you want your top players to be giving you 10 goals or closer to 20 goals?
Do you think you can... When's the last player to score that many goals on a dysfunctional team?
Dysfunctional team?
Because where's Liverpool? Are they in 8th place right now?
That's a good question. They might be around there.
Do you have an 8th place player who scores 20 goals?
Luis Suarez is back in the day. I don't know if he had 20 goals that exact season, but he was that caliber of player that had the potential to score those many goals. I'm not saying Mo's not, but just the fact that he just got paid. and then for that to now lead to a mediocre season. For Mo Salah to have 10 goals or 10 Premier League goals, that's bang average. That's mediocre for his standard.
So are you at the point where you're going to start to regret giving him that contract?
And then it's all about, like, okay, look at what he's done, but what are you doing for me now?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, Mo Salah earned that money for what he's done the last 5 seasons. But if you're telling me PSG are going to offer you $85 million for him, that might be
wow.
You wouldn't be opposed to that?
I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Wow.
I just,
I didn't expect that.
And who comes in for him? You're just expecting Luis Diaz to come back.
There's going to be an overhaul this summer for sure. Their funds are available. Fenway Sports Group, the owners of Liverpool, have made it clear that they are going to back Jurgen. I do think Jurgen knows what he's doing, but the team needs a new, fresh.
Are they still selling? No.
They're not. They're looking for outside investment, but every club is looking for outside investment nowadays. But otherwise, they just can't compete. It's just so crazy how different the levels are now with funds in the Premier League.
Money makes the world go around, baby.
So for you, there's no way that Jurgen Klopp gets sacked.
No shot. I mean, but if you ask me,
So if they finish outside of Europe in totality, you think he's still there?
I think he gets another year, but I'm not outlying the fact that Jurgen Klopp might just say after next season, you know what, I've had enough of this. I'm done. Let me go manage the Germany national team. Because I could see that being Jurgen's next move. He has a contract extension until 2025, I believe. That was just recently renegotiated. So he's committed for the foreseeable future. But, he may just get fed up. He just may say, all right, I've had enough of this. It's been 8 years, and there's all this, Klopp stays at clubs. Yeah, it has been.
It hasn't been, 5 years.
Right.
He's been there for a little
And that's
while.
just not...
How many players would you say do you think it's going to take to overhaul this Liverpool team?
I'd say 5 to 6.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I'm
That's
expecting...
like half your lineup.
I'm expecting 200 to 250 million spent this summer. Like that's what needs to be done. You can put it all in the Jude Bellingham basket. That's a dream prayer right there. But
yeah, I mean, what we just saw with Chelsea, if it's not spent the right way, you can just dig yourself a little bit of a deeper hole.
no, of course.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
Chelsea is such
exactly
an
where you are.
unprecedented situation. Just over the last 12 to 24 months,
Yeah.
everything at that football club has just been in shambles. And I'm not even. I mean,
So remind me, who started as the Chelsea manager this year?
Chelsea.
It feels like
Thomas Tuchel.
it was Tuchel.
Yeah.
Wow.
He started
He
off
was
of a Champions League winning season.
Yeah. That is true. And then
Was
they got
that
it.
two
When did he
seasons?
No,
lose
2
it?
seasons ago.
2
Yeah,
seasons
Real
ago.
Madrid.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
right.
When did he lose the job?
In the fall, like a couple weeks before the World Cup started,
Okay, so right before November-ish.
I would say.
Yeah,
And then, damn, they had a lot go on. And
So
then they
those
had
of you
that
that
wild
don't
transfer
know-
window.
Graham Potter, who took over for
Harry.
Thomas Tuchel, was sacked
Yes,
last weekend.
last week. That's the big news of the
Yeah.
week. Chelsea decided to sack their manager, who was their long-term replacement, which
Who they said they would give time to.
right,
But
that's
from-
just a load of rubbish, man.
From what I saw, though, I saw there was a couple reports that the players didn't really respect him. Like they were making fun of him behind. They were literally calling him
Harry Potter.
So, if you've lost the locker room, then it's I
Yeah,
don't
of
have a
course.
choice. I'd love to back you, but they're not.
But the timing of it is just.
And I wonder how that
odd.
news kind of permeates higher up, that the players are, who is it? Someone in this coaching staff or someone that kind of takes that? Because
I feel like
as an owner, you probably have someone on the ground floor other than the
I-
manager checking
trying
on
to check in
what's
and see
going
what-
on.
I'm gonna say there
Get
has
an
to be
inside scoop.
some type of athletic something that's close in age to the players that they say something about the coach. But
Yeah,
guys, chill.
maybe the sporting director is.
Well,
or they
is that part of their
When
job?
Todd Bowley came in, though, he cleaned house. Petr Cech was there. He was the sporting director. They all
Yeah.
left. So there was some real discrepancies between what the new owner wanted and what was originally happening at the
Right,
club.
what made it successful in the first place.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for Todd
Yeah,
Bowley,
that's a lot.
American billionaire buys Chelsea in an unprecedented situation. The previous owner was forced to sell. The UK government was like, yeah, we're we're seizing your assets.
I think that's where the problem started.
So right, it's such an unprecedented situation all around. So for them to
a war forced Chelsea.
Yeah, I mean,
that's crazy. You got not
the previous owners like
track all the way back to that.
Vladimir
Putin is directly responsible for Chelsea's downfall. That's hilarious.
So this American
Wait, so
guy,
none of the
allegedly.
Qatar owners have done anything that would make
start a world war now.
All right.
Well, just for
not recently, not that I know of.
They haven't done anything where the government that they're operating their business in is forcing them to sell their business now because of
we need assets.
Yeah, like human atrocities that are being done, like launching a war against.
Just like, hey, we're gonna
nations.
End this.
So. The whole Chelsea situation has just been a mess the last 12 to 24 months.
Very political in Chelsea.
Yeah, right?
Jesus. And none of them care. Like, they're just soccer players, you know what I'm saying?
But
Mudryk might care.
Ukrainian player. But to Boli's credit, he did what the fans wanted. Like, he kept that same thing that the previous owner did of spending money. He might not have spent it right, but that also brings into the question, how much of the players that were brought in were Todd Bowley bringing them in or Graham Potter bringing them in?
Yeah, that's a good point.
To the money point, we spoke about that last week. Like, I genuinely believe spending money badly and not spending it they're equally as bad.
Yeah, no, that's true. But if you look at the Chelsea model over the last 20 years, since 2004, when Roman Abramovich bought the club, they spend money,
they
win trophies,
and they flip through managers. That's the very interesting part.
And they'll bring you back. I know they wish they could have brought back Tuchel.
But no, you know who they bring back instead? Club legend Frank Lampard.
He's losing. He's not losing, but he's playing around with that title, doing these little horrible stints. If I want to secure that legacy and just bow out gracefully, my boy.
Frank Lampard, for those who don't know, is Chelsea's all-time leading goal scorer as a midfielder. Top player.
Legend.
But as a manager, unsuccessful.
What is it about great players that they just suck as managers? And mediocre players are amazing.
I don't know if it's that they suck. I think they just skip a few steps. Instead of getting their coaching badges, they want to go straight into management.
I mean, you still need your coaching badges, but instead of earning your stripes, working your way up through the pyramid, his first job was Derby in the Championship. That's still
but they almost get promoted back to the Premier League. If they get promoted, Frank
so he did a good job with them.
Way.
You have to admit that, but Chelsea as your second
time at it.
Yeah.
It's just you're regressing. You sacked Frank Lampard because he didn't get the results.
And
you bring in Thomas Tuchel,
losing his job for not getting the results.
Yeah, it's very bizarre.
And interesting enough, because Frank Lampard, after he was sacked from Chelsea, moved to Everton.
Yeah.
And was sacked from Everton.
Right.
So bringing them to the bottom of the table.
He kept them up. To Frank's credit, he did keep Everton in the Premier League up last year, but that's only because there were 3 teams worse than Everton. So it's not even like Frank did anything. They just were lucky that there were 3 teams worse than how Everton played. So for Frank to go back to Chelsea,
this is an odd choice.
I understand the concept of bringing back a club legend, but
that's what you think the reasoning behind it is?
It's a PR stunt from Bowley. He wants to get the fans on board.
Does he get the fans on board that are actually Chelsea fans? They're Frank, we love you, but not for this.
It's a Band-Aid because the guys that they wanted didn't want to come at this time, which is bizarre. But why are you giving it to Frank?
Bizarre?
I'm not coming at the end of the season with this.
So the rumor is that the 2 top candidates were Luis Enrique and Julian Nagelsmann.
Manager.
Correct. Both. Well, Luis Enrique, proven manager. Julian Nagelsmann, young dude who's just on the up and coming, just off of a sacking at Bayern Munich. So for them,
with them still being in the Champions League and being tied for first in the Bundesliga.
Chelsea still is in the Champions League. So if I was Luis Enrique or Julian Nagelsmann, why would I want to wait till the summer when I could come in now, potentially, not likely, but potentially win the Champions League and evaluate the squad that I already have? So when summertime comes around, I know who's in and I already know who I want to get rid of. Mm-hmm. It's just a lame excuse, I think, and if it also shows that Chelsea aren't really.
But that's a very optimistic way of looking at it.
Of course,
that's wishful thinking. Obviously, Tuchel came in for Lampard and then won the Champions League, and everyone's
Roberto
happy.
Di Matteo back in the day.
There
also.
you go. But if things go backwards, it's already the club's already kind of moving down the table. I feel like you don't want to take that on. Give yourself an entire summer to kind of get your ideas through, bring in some of the players you want.
I get that. But honestly, I think what Chelsea could have done instead of sacking Potter and bringing in Frank is either you keep Potter to the end of the season or you give a former player like John Terry, who's coaching the U18s at Chelsea, a shot. So someone like John Terry, I always remember him as a leader, throwing his head at the ball, trying to defend it. So
John Terry's a wild boy.
He could have always gotten a chance. Instead of him going right into management, he did his coaching badges first. So he's trying to work his way up. So it's very odd that they decided to bring back Frank instead of promoting one of their coaches from within, who's also a club legend.
He probably didn't want it.
I mean, he's at the club. Again, it's also a Band-Aid.
Listen, I'm doing just fine.
It's a stopgap. Frank has no pressure. But, Chelsea are just...
Right. So he's just signed on to the end of the season, right?
Correct,
it's not,
yes. But, what if Chelsea win the Champions League? Does Frank Lampard now earn that right to be the Chelsea manager again? I don't know.
Yeah. Yes, of course.
I don't think so.
You think he does?
What? You in the Champions League? That buys you some time. I mean, unless there's really that better of an option.
Age of giving you time. What's time now? How much time is enough time for everybody? What's adequate time? Okay, we're bringing you in. We believe in you.
I think
X amount of time to make X amount of progress is what we're expecting.
If you don't win in 10 games at a club like Chelsea,
a game,
huh?
You win a game,
10 games in a season.
Because that's what happened with Tuchel, right? He Graham Potter, Harry Potter. Was that he really didn't win a game in 10 games, something like that?
Prem games, because they're forming the Champions League. Nobody thought they were going to beat Dortmund.
They have this weird thing. It's like Benzema in the Champions League. They just do well. I don't get it.
Tournament team.
So, yeah.
But yeah, how long is
back
enough?
to your question? Yeah, how much time is
10
enough
games
time?
is I wouldn't.
How would you feel about every manager is automatically allowed at least one season, and if he doesn't do well, get him out at the end of the season? Because I
feel like that makes a lot of sense.
We're seeing some unprecedented amount of managers being sacked. Southampton sacked 2 managers in a single season, and they still don't have a permanent manager. So,
but I feel like at the same time, you kind of need part of it's just the eye test if you're an owner. Like Mikel Arteta, when he started at Arsenal, things weren't going so great, but he inherited a team that wasn't great in the middle of the season. But you could see a play style start to develop and kind of a culture.
And they won an FA Cup though, so winning that FA Cup bought him a lot of time because the fans were calling for his head at one point.
No, but
that's what I'm saying.
So Raul's point, if you get, let's say you were to just say all managers get a season, he wouldn't have gotten a team in the middle of this. You know what I mean? He came in, had the top.
That's true.
Got to start out at his own season with not his own team, but maybe if they bring him in early, he can have some input on who comes in, who goes out, whatever. I think a season is enough, but I know myself as a fan. I can tell you by winter break if I want you to stay here till June, July. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that brings a question: what's more important, the style of play or the results?
Style of play, in my opinion. Because if I'm investing in a manager, I'm investing in your philosophy as well.
That's easy to say if you're a Manchester United fan, but imagine Nottingham Forest, Crystal Palace, who are fighting for survival, Leeds United. These teams need to stay up, otherwise their profitability kind of suffers.
But I imagine if you can affect style of play significantly at that level or that area of the table, it should reflect in the results.
Yeah, that's true. Because at the end of the day, if the results don't show up, then the manager is usually easier to replace than 30 players. But at the end of the day, the players got to take responsibility.
If I see something where I'm listen, if he had the players that I think could fit into the system, it'd have been a different season. I'd give him another season. And I'd go into the summer together listen, I think this is who would work for what you're doing. who do you think would work for what you're doing? And then if we have any overlap there, those are players we're picking up, and then we can work from there.
No, that's
and Chelsea has options when it comes to players.
Oh,
like whoever
God.
comes in the
They have
summer
too
is
many
gonna
options.
Comes in the summer,
Yeah.
somebody mad people gotta leave in the summer first. Like,
No, I mean whichever manager comes in the summer
yeah.
will definitely have a bunch
that's
of
a
people.
good. That's a good problem.
choose from.
to have.
yeah, he's
That's
coming in with like a FIFA beginning of the season pack.
You know, that was also Potter's issue. He never knew what his best 11 was. So how could you get some sort of like
I don't think
fluidity
he's played his best
without
11.
having knowing?
Like, let's not forget Aubameyang is still on Chelsea.
Yeah, that poor man.
That was such a weird move, bro.
He
But-
wanted to play with Thomas Tuchel, but
I think the interesting part for me is Nkunku, who's on Leipzig and is already signed
He's already
for
come.
Chelsea.
yeah.
Like, as a player, would you ever want to sign for a team that far in advance that's like a revolving door with managers? Say, like, in the mid-2000s, you signed for United a year early. That's fine. You know Sir Alex Ferguson is there. He's a proven winner. He's going to be there next year, the year after, whatever. But I feel like it was Nkunku at the time really had his pick of going to almost any club. You know, being in great form or whatever. And choosing Chelsea. Like, what do you think about that choice? But at the start, he signed at like the start of the season. So at the start of the season, things were a little different. I think
You gotta
things were looking
look
up
at
for
it
Chelsea.
from a bigger picture.
And then maybe he thinks Tuchel's gonna be there for the.
Yeah, for the foreseeable future.
Maybe that's who he spoke with. I was like, hey, I don't know. That's tough. Because if you're watching this, knowing this is what you're coming into,
Yeah.
we need to be having some type of dialogue.
And for me, if I'm a player, as much as I want to play for a certain club, I want to play for a certain coach. I have to know the coach like wants me there, believes in me.
That's a big part too. Yeah, I think when players come in and like the coach that wanted them leaves, it can ruin a career. Like from college up, honestly.
Oh, it could happen to anybody.
You know what I mean? Like it
Pro
can
level,
just.
yeah.
I've seen it.
Youth
like,
soccer could happen.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
one coach you were like starting, another coach just like I'm a guy, bro.
Leipzig is a different environment than London, so you could also think maybe he just wanted a new environment,
Change of
new
pace,
challenge,
bigger clubs.
bigger payday. So there's
I have more endorsement.
a lot of things go into joining Chelsea from the Bundesliga.
That's fair.
That's just the might
There's
of the
more
Premier
eyes
League.
on me.
Oh, for sure. Could probably help with his international career also.
Yeah.
Benzema retired. They need a new center forward to come in. It's a good
nah,
career.
of course
It's a good
he
career
was
move.
like
It
looking
is.
to take that next step.
Yeah.
But I wonder what's like his thought process is right now, where he's at, just knowing that next step isn't with who I thought it'd be with.
Right. And they still don't know who it's going to be with. That's the troubling part. But, it's like the revolving door. Like Brendan Rodgers left Leicester City. They're in a relegation battle, 19th place as we end the weekend. And their squad shouldn't be in 19th place. They have a much more talented squad than that.
Yeah, I guess that's the beauty of the Premier League is that like there's so many strong squads at this point that there's going to be some good teams and some good players that just don't make it.
Yeah. Now, does that bring into question is Brendan Rodgers, who's a British manager, was Liverpool's manager for a good stint there back in the day. Does he deserve a shot?
He brought them
at
back.
A big club?
He brought them back. He was
they should
like
have won that 13-14 season. They had the title in their grasp, just slipped away. That hurts.
Definitely.
Yeah. But does Rodgers deserve a shot at like a Tottenham Hotspur or even Chelsea? Should his name be in the mix for the?
That's so funny you brought him up for Tottenham because I think he'd be a solid fit there, just like his attacking style of play and kind of that's what.
That's why
they're
with the
known for
Leicester,
over there.
I really think he just got fed up there. I don't think it was more of a sacking than Rodgers saying, "I've had enough. This is a dysfunctional club. I can't take this club any further. I won you an FA Cup. It's time for me to move on." Timing of it is just so suspect.
Like a mutual party.
Yeah, that's just how they word it. That's some signs of respect. But no, Rodgers wanted out. Leicester probably. I feel like they want to sell Leicester. It's just their downfall has been faster than Liverpool's. But
Yeah, they were on the cusp of like making the Champions League.
They're where Newcastle is right
2
now.
2 years running.
They kind of just switched spots. Well, I mean, Leicester won the Premier League. I'm still waiting for that biopic film and that story.
Yo, that documentary is gonna be fire. ESPN needs to get into the soccer game.
30 for 30.
Yo, soccer 30 for 30s would go crazy.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much they could do too. Like, there's so many. They have they should have started it during COVID when we were inside. They could have blown up in Europe just doing 30 for 30.
Yeah.
They had.
I guess the Amazon Prime All or Nothing series is like.
It's cool. It's a dramatic effect for sure, but it's also awesome to see that inside, like the inner works of the clubs. Like getting in the dressing room at halftime, listening to that speech.
Wrexham?
Welcome to Wrexham. Yeah, I saw a couple episodes.
How is it?
It's very interesting and it's entertaining for sure because you get to see a non-league club taken over by these famous American actors. Deadpool and Mac from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Such an odd duo, but no, they're
it's a
genius
wild concept
marketing
just to, like,
for sure. I mean, they got a TikTok search sponsor. Like Wrexham are on the rise. Actually, Wrexham are tied with Notts County to get promoted back to the footballing pyramid. So they're currently a non-league team.
Oh, they're not even.
They're not even a.
They're a Sunday. Yo, let's go try it out. Let's get in there before you.
They're both tied on 100 points. Only one team gets promoted, and they both play each other tomorrow. So that's going to be an exciting game. I really hope ESPN might even have.
How do they already have 100 points?
It's crazy.
Listen. I play in the Sunday league, bro.
They got players dropping out of the professional system to play for Wrexham because they see where the club is going.
Yo, let's go. Let's get us Jamie Vardy to stay. So we just started as a humble podcast. Now we're
by non-league teams in the UK.
We'll sponsor the team and then play for them.
Yeah.
But no, I gotta look more into Wrexham. I didn't know it was that exciting.
I recommend everybody, even though viewers at home, you should definitely check out that documentary.
What is it?
It's on Hulu.
Hulu.
So it's cool to see the inner works of a club, especially a club that's not even they're massive because of how old they are. They have so much history, but just recent years.
Were they in the Premier League at one point? Do you know?
I mean, it wasn't called the Premier League at the time, but they might have been in the top flight. They could have been. I don't know for sure though. But yeah, no, it's very cool to see.
Security in the world, Craig.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love how in England, every team has a little stadium and they still get supporters
because it's so community driven. That's what's different between football here in the States versus over there. There's so much importance on the community and supporting your local club. But nowadays they all want to leave for the big club. So the footballing pyramid might be in a little bit of trouble in England just because the funding is all just being hoarded at the top. So.
Yeah, but that'll make the race to the top all the more interesting.
Exactly, that's why everybody loves the Premier League.
Best league in the world.
All right, so you have Rodgers leaving Leicester. Another team that looks like they might be in some trouble is West Ham.
Surprisingly, they just
one of Brandon's favorite managers, David Moyes, is currently in charge of the club.
That's his level of club.
Yeah, that's what you're thinking.
That's his wheelhouse.
They're coming off of a bad loss to Newcastle, 5-1, humiliating.
Newcastle isn't good form though.
But they're not 5-1 better than West Ham, or they shouldn't be at the beginning of the season. West Ham spent so much.
They might be. Newcastle's the third best team in the league, technically.
They're cooking right now. They haven't spent all that bread yet.
Yeah, that's what's crazy about Newcastle.
That's what's scary.
They're doing it the right way.
Not gonna lie, I'm very nervous about Newcastle in the next 5 years.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking they'll win the league within the next 5 years.
And they're talking about, you should call us United, and then they brought out a brand new banner that just said Newcastle with no United on it. So guys,
they got the history. They're the only club up in that region of the country, so they have a massive following. Their stadium is huge. They're a sleeping giant.
Yo, it's shaping up to be something.
But West
Ham, be gold 3.
West Ham was supposed to be the sleeping giant. They just spent so much money on this state-of-the-art.
And they're in Europe.
They're in Europe.
They're in the Continental Cup, the third tournament.
What is that called?
Under the Europa League. Conference League. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So.
But if David Moyes leaves, who else do they bring in with 9 games left? Like, he's the man to save them from this relegation battle. In my opinion, there's no one else that they... Mark Noble. Like, if they want to pull a Chelsea and try to promote for
who's
morale.
saving anyone from relegation in 9 games that, like, hey, team, we're going to have to, like, learn each other and also, like, try not to be relegated in the next 9 games. Let's try to get it done.
Jesse Marsh, the American who was sacked from Leeds, is linked with Leicester.
Really?
Yeah.
I think West Ham is interesting, though, because it reminds me of, I feel like we've seen a couple of clubs that are, like, slowly rising up the table and then get into, like, a league or a conference league. But, like, they don't have a big enough squad to handle the trips to, like, the conference league they'll play a team like Estonia on, like, a Thursday and then have to come back to the
European clubs across the
nation.
nation.
And it's like, I saw that with Swansea kind of work their way up and then get into that competition, and then everything kind of fell apart
from there.
Yeah.
It also comes with outrageous spending, like B was saying earlier. Like, if you're going to spend money just to spend money, that could be a really risky proposition, especially for a middle-of-the-table club that is now trying to break into Europe. If you don't spend right, you could just be right back where you came from.
Yeah, you just...
But then how...
Reset yourself,
but you have to
back, like,
you have to spend at the same time, because it's almost, how do you propel yourself
have to, but you have to make sure, like,
forward? Like, how are you going to cross that threshold? So
it's difficult. That's where you get the people that, like, make a name for themselves. Like, wow, he bought this guy at 19. How did he know? Like, that's where it comes. Ooh, that just reminded me of something. This is so left field. I'm sorry, but did you see that clip? You're not really too on social media like that. Did you see that clip of Ronaldinho's son?
I heard that he signed with Barca. Is he spitting image of his dad?
Okay.
Don't tell me he got it.
One quote tweet was, "This is proof Ronaldinho was an absent father." He don't got it. Bro.
Arsenal just scored on Liverpool. Breaking news.
He don't got it. They scored?
Arsenal just scored.
He don't got it, bro.
I was thinking that.
He's not the one. The kid is not the son. Billy Jean, bro, the kid
That's
is
what
not
I was saying earlier. Because when I heard the kid was going to Barcelona, I tried to look up a little bit of his tape in Brazil. There was no tape.
Yeah.
There's no pickup. It was just like him playing pickup in the backyard or whatever. So I'm like, that's a little weird.
Yo, Virgil just passed it to Martinelli. He literally just passed him the ball. Oh, man.
And another thing that made me think he's going to struggle?
What?
When he got to Barcelona, they didn't decide what team he was going to go into.
Oh, like the first
team? Yeah, they were trying to figure out. No, not even, because he's young enough, so it's like they were deciding whether it's like
send this to you,
send him to the U15s, the U14s, U16s.
Hold on. All right, really quickly, we have to watch. I'm gonna send it to Nick and just cast it onto the screen really quickly. I want you guys to see this. Like, this is peak. Like, damn, bro, you didn't really care about your son that much, did you? Like, he was at home and you were out just getting it, being great. It looks like, all right. You ever seen a winger that thinks he's silky? But
what do you mean? What?
Not you. I mean, like, that really thinks really thinks so, but he's not. Not like, okay, we're actively like watching this. Crosses the ball. All right, cool.
Okay.
Touches and the press. I can go on. When he tries to start to step overs or anything,
he looks bigger than everybody though.
Yeah, he's not a small kid, but
because he's playing 2 years down. He reclassified.
He's not the guy, bro. He don't even look Brazilian, to be honest. Like, he doesn't even
they cut that clip short there.
Yeah, they cut that one short because he looked crazy. And then if you could hear the sound, like the other coaches just say, "Yo, take that." Like,
he's baby food.
Bro, he's food. Yo, would you scream like? All right, this is another random topic. I'm sorry. How are you like? What's your perspective on like sports parents? Like, would you be a vocal sports parent? Like, do you think you'd be?
I'm not saying a thing.
What about you?
You're not hearing a word.
I'm trying to be the volunteer assistant coach. God!
I
want to be like the nice parent who actually knows what he's talking about.
Like, pull him to the side, like, "Hey, I hear you coaches yelling, but listen." if you played it wide, that'd have been the better play. Okay, I feel you.
Like, I would try to help him get training sessions. Like, I would want, especially like if it's a rec soccer league where it's not that serious. But like, there's a lot.
No, I'm talking about the first travel team. He's on.
Yeah, I'm talking about travel. We're not talking about. I'm talking about real soccer.
He or she is on.
I'm talking about real soccer. All 5 of them. For me personally.
Yeah, I mean, it's depending on what the club's looking. If it's a well-run club that I'm spending good money for, yeah, I'm gonna have mine.
If my kid is good and the club is good, I'm gonna be unbearable.
Oh God.
You're gonna
You're gonna be that.
Unbearable. Like if your son is a left back and my son's a right winger, you're gonna hate me the whole night. Yo, damn that.
He's cooking him.
Say, yo, this guy's not ready, bro. Because I said that I used to do shit like that as a kid, like on the field as a kid to like my friends. Like, bro, he can't guard you. Just run past. Like, I was an asshole. So I feel like I would do that. But then again, you don't want to like kill some kid's confidence. But some asshole parent telling you suck at like 10 probably make you better by 16.
Or you hate the game and you never want to play soccer.
That's my thing.
But
I would hate to be the parent.
Reaction,
then you were never meant out for
the
it.
guy.
Nah, because
early.
At a young age, I truly believe you just have to foster the kids' love for the sport.
Yeah.
Just make sure they love it. So eventually, when they get to age where it's like, all right, now we need to start working a little bit.
They want to do it.
They want to do it because they.
I don't remember not loving it. So that part, if you don't love it, you just don't love it. In my opinion, I'm just you just never love it. I've never not loved it. Like when it was introduced to me, I was like, this is the coolest shit in the world.
I can speak differently because I quit soccer at a point.
What? You nerd?
Yeah, I played travel soccer. It was a traumatic experience, and I stopped playing soccer for a year.
Coach yelled at you?
Literally. No, it was just like a level above rec soccer that I was not ready for. I just couldn't hack it.
Wait, what's rec soccer? Like y'all mentioned it like a lot. It's
so you wear tie-dye socks and you eat orange peels.
What?
It's just for the people that don't want to play 3-4 times a week. With games on Saturday or Sunday.
No, rec soccer is like
is it like
introduction?
No. It's like it's in the fall.
Because when you say rec, I'm thinking like a recreational soccer.
Right at the local.
But they have a field.
Yeah.
Upstairs.
No, but you usually play at like
on sea.
Like
the rec center is just the center.
It's like a bad grass field somewhere, obviously.
Maybe at like a local high school.
No. Just for kids to try the sport without parents having to break the bank for their kids.
I loved it. I played rec soccer, and that was my start. And that's how you fall in love with the game. Being better than
so I guess the equivalent is like intramural soccer, right?
Yeah, essentially.
Because like it's like every Saturday thing. There's a couple.
There's no standings. So like
intramural standings for us.
Yeah, so
we had like awards at the end of the season, like MVP of Division 3
everybody
soccer.
gets like a medal for like competing in
really?
it the year, but
what?
That's why it's rec soccer.
Okay, but no intramural. I'm trying to like just like
compare it to
piece it to something that I would, because I never really heard anybody say rec soccer like that other than y'all. But like so like intramural for me, like the club I played at started at I started at like U5s or whatever. So it's like Division 3, Division 2, Division 1. Division 3 is like 5-year-olds.
Wait, when you first started, was it the girls and the boys playing together?
Yeah.
Okay.
And one of the best players I ever played with was this girl Renee, bro. She's nuts. But like we played on the same team. One of the kids I played with at 5 like plays for Rebels now. Like there's a couple nice people on that team. But so yeah, there's 5-year-olds or whatever. We played it there, and then Division 2 I think you're like 6 or like maybe 7, 8, 9, 10. And then Division 1 is like 11, 12. And then if you're good enough, that's where you're going to travel. If not, you just stop playing and you go to another club.
That's fair, yeah. That's usually how like a lot of the travel clubs pick their players. Like when they see them
so it's just the best intramural players.
You shouldn't be playing here. You're gonna play with our team.
Yeah. So, but what I was saying, we really kept standing. It was like, yo, like we're third. We have like X amount of points. Like we need to beat the Stingers next week, and then we have like the Rebels the week after that. And then like there's like an award ceremony at the end of the year.
I wish I played for the Stingers. That's a good name.
Yellow and black. Yellow and black. I played for the Singers. I played for Seba, and I played for the Sharks.
You know who he's gonna be? Have you ever seen Kicking and Screaming?
Hell yeah.
He's Will Ferrell.
Damn right. No, the other dad.
Mike Ditka, whatever.
No, not the other coach. The dad who's like
that has the Pele ball.
Yes, that's who he's gonna be. He's gonna have like the sweatsuit all black. He's gonna be like,
oh no, we're gonna have full uniform. We're gonna have like sweatsuits with our names on them. Don't let me coach my son's instrumental team.
So
or travel team. It's gonna be a problem.
Shout out Kicking and Screaming. I love that movie.
I love that.
Best the Italians.
You know, I think that's why I like Will Ferrell so much. Because like he has a movie like that you can love him in at each age, like each appropriate age. Like as a kid, you love that, and you see Step Brothers. Oh, all right. And then you see the other guys, shit like that.
We probably shouldn't get into this, but that might be the best soccer movie for me.
Best soccer movie.
Kicking and Screaming.
I love Goal. Goal is just such.
Goal is fire. I love Goal,
love that
but I was gonna pull one. Bend It Like Beckham is alright. Bend It Like Beckham. I had it on VHS.
It was good.
I might be biased.
That's from like the 90s.
I had it on VHS, and I was like, whoa.
But as far as like the best soccer movie,
it's not
Goal 1 and 2, just like.
Goal 2 when I liked when he made it though.
Yeah,
and you see like the flaws and like the difficulties of a career.
Yeah,
as a kid, I'm like, I gotta pay attention. This is what I'm doing. I gotta really know about this.
When we make it pro, we'll be playing pro.
I was like, you see, Santi's at Newcastle, I'm being United, so it's gonna really be worse than this. I really gotta pay attention.
Yeah, that was from like the early 2000s. I think like 2004 maybe.
But no, that was like the most. That movie was amazing. Like even the way they filmed the action scenes of playing soccer was just like.
But
this was made by people that really watch.
No, but the funny part is, have you like rewatched it recently and realized how bad that actor is?
Well, that's
soccer?
what I'm saying.
Like, you should rewatch the soccer scenes, man. You could tell like he never played soccer, and they gave him like a 2-month soccer boot camp.
Can't relate.
I know another good soccer movie. Okay. We won't mention.
Goal is fire though. Like, no revisionist history. Just thinking about it back then. Amazing.
How you remember it in your head.
Yeah, like you know how people are like, no, this is how I want to remember you. Don't cry. That's how I want to remember Goal. You know what I'm saying?
What? People say that to people?
Yeah, people are horrible. What do you mean? You never watch TV?
Don't cry. Nah, there's definitely a good soccer era, but
no, there's not better ones, but there's more soccer movies than Goal.
There's a lot
I don't
of
know why
soccer
we're not.
movies.
We can't. Kicking and Screaming gotta be up. Kicking and Screaming is one.
I mean, there's a few like that were made in the UK.
Oh, there's a Shaolin soccer movie that I've never seen, but I've always seen scenes on Twitter. It looks amazing.
Shaolin.
She's the man. She's the man with
Amanda
Amanda Bynes.
Yeah. That was
as a '90s kid, that's a solid movie. That is a solid movie. What other ones do they have? See, Goal 2. Ronaldo has a movie.
Mean Machine.
What's that about?
That is English, The Longest Yard.
Oh yeah.
Oh
have
really?
You ever seen, like,
I would watch that. You know, The Longest Yard is a remake.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I saw like The Longest Yard original one on the streaming service, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
I was so confused.
Have you ever seen like the Hooligan Green Hooligan?
I think so.
Green Street
Is it a documentary?
No. It's about like the
West Ham fans.
the fans
in the '90s. Like you remember all the English fans were just beating the shit out of each other after every game.
I've seen hooligan documentaries, but I don't think I've seen this.
I've seen that one. Yeah.
That hooligan shit is fire. Ooh, can you file that away from me? United, whichever one I do.
Oh, that's sad. I think that's about the plane crash.
Oh.
Ooh, I don't want to watch that.
That's from like the 30s.
The best movie I've ever received was the Class of '92 movie.
Ooh, that's a documentary about that.
I got it on
Giggsy.
On
the
DVD.
Nevilles, Beckham, yeah.
Yeah, I was old enough to get it on DVD.
You think we'll ever see that type of academy production again? Yeah, where you got like 6, 7 being promoted into the first team.
At Everton, probably.
Yeah.
At Everton.
Don't they have like one of the best walking?
To that success, maybe not.
They were treble winners. They're the only, not the only, but they're the last English team to win the treble. Maybe the only.
I don't think we're the only.
Yeah.
They might be.
I think you might be the only.
Liverpool kind of fumbled the bag last year, but we won't talk about that.
I don't know. I thought Chelsea did it.
Well, I mean, if you count Barcelona, well, they were all like the same year, right? Mm. That's the thing about it. They were all the same.
That era of promoting and then developing that same group of players and then winning titles with.
But I think at a point, Barcelona, I think it was like Piqué, Fabregas, Messi, and there might have been one more player. They were all on the same youth team.
Not Busquets, right? No, he must have been
I'm
a
not
couple
sure.
years younger. Xavi and Iniesta.
Alright, I just found like 2 movies I'm absolutely watching later. The 2 Escobars. Do you guys know about this?
So that's
Have
the
you seen that? You seen that?
that's the soccer 30
I think
for
that's
30.
the best 30 for 30 out
So I was
there.
just about to
Maybe
say,
a little
like,
biased,
I might have seen it, but I love the story about
Yeah.
like how they just control the Colombian national team. It's sad how they like you scored the goal. Like,
You know, it's
But
they
it's
say
just
if Pablo Escobar were still in control of Colombia at that time, Andres Escobar would have never been murdered for missing that goal because people would have been too scared to do something like that.
But did they order it? Didn't somebody order that?
No, he
Or
was
just,
killed.
like,
It was
the
just a
people?
random guy at like a nightclub. You know,
That's crazy. I
They
thought it was
shot
ordered.
him,
All
shot
these
him.
years, I was told it was ordered. I'm pretty sure my parents.
No, because Pablo Escobar was in hiding at that time,
Damn.
so he was trying to flee the feds.
Isn't it crazy how at some point, like, criminals get to a certain point where they're now
They're now
the peace?
heroes.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's especially in Colombia, bro. That crazy era.
Man, that one I have to see, and then there's something called Africa United that's on Netflix. Apparently, looks interesting. But there's not too many soccer movies. There's like I feel like there's a big market missing.
It is. You know, the game needs to grow in this nation. That's why I think this upcoming World Cup, it's going to be the perfect opportunity for the game to grow in the States.
Messi has a biopic.
Ted Lasso's doing numbers.
Ted Lasso's
That's
amazing.
a great
Ted
show.
Lasso.
Oh my
Ted
God,
Lasso.
that show is so
Shout out
good.
to Ted Lasso.
There'll be a Ted Lasso movie at one point.
You know, it's so fun. It's so cool
I
how
don't love like sitcom movies.
you've
like the
seen
concept.
the original skit of Ted Lasso. When they
Yeah.
promoted
Yes.
it like 15 years ago. Yeah, it's really cool that they.
I
rebooted
watched
it.
it like when I first heard about it. That's the clip I saw like when I like Googled it, and I was like, "Oh wow, this is
And
interesting." I was
they
like,
kept the
"Oh,
same
this
guy too. The assistant coach is
Oh, that was the same guy
from
from
the
it?
skit.
Wow, I
Yeah.
didn't realize.
I like that.
Yeah.
I know
No,
he
that's
does
cool.
good thing about that skit. Just ended up being like one of the most influential shows of the last couple of years.
Oh man. Yeah. No,
So-
Bending Like Beckham was fire. Sorry, this movie was great.
If you say so.
Did you see it, or you just like you
I've seen it
like,
once.
Nah.
It just wasn't for
Nah,
me. It
I
wasn't
haven't
for
seen
me.
it, to be honest.
Oh, you hate women?
No, it's a nice story. She,
No, it was a cool.
her family wasn't
I
accepting
think it
of
was
her
just
love
like I
for
was
soccer.
really young, so I was like, "Oh my god, anything about soccer is the best thing
And
I've ever seen ever."
the name Beckham in it, so you had
That
to know
too.
Beckham was going to be in it.
And then I literally was like
But he wasn't.
watching Beckham masterclasses on YouTube at my leisure, not even, on his website at my leisure. So I was like, "Oh my god, this is big."
Yeah.
But let's get back
But
on
bringing
topic.
things back to
The actual
a different type of soccer.
So,
A different type.
If we shake the magic 8 ball, I want to ask you guys, who do you think will be the first one to win a title out of Liverpool, Chelsea, and United?
Oh, thank God you didn't put Newcastle in it. That would have thrown my head
you know, my answer could be different in 6 months from now after the summer window is done. But at this moment in time, I think you got to give it to United, and it breaks my heart to say that. But
Yeah, I would go us, like, trying not to be biased, but, like, we just look, even though we look like trash the other day, like, we're still in the best shape
you know
of the
what?
three.
Because they're supporting
right now.
Ten Hag unwilling,
Yeah,
no matter what Ten Hag
unwavering,
wants.
absolutely.
Like, he
That's a
wants-
big part of it. I do agree
especially
with that.
like if they get De Jong in the summer. But
And
again,
he still has the fans. I think that's a big part of coaching United. If you have the fans, like, you're buying yourself time. It's not so much the
Right.
ownership; it's the fans. Like, if
Because
we're
the
still rocking with you,
fans can see he's moving in the right direction.
right.
It's not just even another manager like Mourinho had better results in his first season.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah, 'cause
they're not
they're-
playing. He's not playing a United style. That's I feel
United
like the
fans are still like the worst fans in terms of like last week they were like, oh, Ali had 52 points at this point in the season last year. Like, are we better right now? So like they do stupid crap like that. But as a whole, they are rocking with 10, and I think that's gonna go a good way.
he's leading the revolution, which that's what.
And I like the football that he's trying to get them to play.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Was he their first choice in the summer? Wasn't there someone else that was a lot of people were kind of preferring over him, or
Pochettino?
they didn't trust him with the United job?
I think before we started the podcast, you and I had that conversation. I was like, I don't know why he gets denied every time there's an open job. Like, no, I don't want him. And you were like,
Pochettino, right?
Yeah, Pochettino. I'm just like, yeah, I don't want him to go.
He's been on his his last job was PSG.
Oh yeah, so he's been taking
out
his
for
time.
a while. He's just waiting.
He's been at home
You
playing
know,
FIFA.
Chelsea again.
Testing out his tactics.
if Chelsea get the appointment right, they're spending the money. They have the players. So Chelsea just needs the right leader in place. So Chelsea,
they need a forward, in my opinion.
Oh, for sure. That's going to be a top
that,
priority for them this summer.
Forward and just somebody to organize this team and play a good formation or something. Just like, we need something.
So you see Chelsea winning a title before Liverpool?
Again, it all depends on what this summer looks like. Chelsea are in a better position to win the title than Liverpool are, which is crazy because Chelsea are in shambles right now. Because they have
right manager,
they have the
unlimited bank account, so.
And Liverpool are so strapped by their capital, which is just very unfortunate because they have the atmosphere, they have the fan base, they have good players. They just need to refreshen up that squad that has clearly run its course. Maybe it's Jurgen Klopp's style, that heavy metal, constant pressing is really putting takes a number on these players. And
I think Liverpool though can in my opinion, it's easier to replace problem players or inefficient players than shit management, bad ownership.
I really hope Jurgen Klopp is taking everything that is being said about Liverpool and him personally this year and really revamps this summer and comes for sure.
I took that shit personally. 3 years from now when they win the league, yo, what happened?
What were you saying?
Do you guys follow UFC at all?
Not really.
Not at all.
Alright, so there's this guy, Israel Adesanya, he fought this guy
last
night, and he knocked him out. But they've had 2 previous fights in kickboxing. The first fight, Alex Pereira knocked him out. Alex Pereira's son got in the ring and fell to the ground mocking him. This was 15 years ago. Last night he knocks out his dad. He looks through the crowd while he's in the cage, points at him, and does the same thing the kid did 15 years ago. That is a level of petty.
Yeah, I love
that. Absolutely respect 1,000%. I love that type of stuff.
Oh,
wow.
no, Arsenal just scored again.
Woo! You should put some money on that, my boy.
I said 3-1.
I said 2-1, so I'm still safe.
Wow.
I mean, I ain't putting no money on it, but I'm still safe with my pick.
I hope Juan does his bet. But me and Juan bet in the beginning of the summer if Gabriel Jesus is going to score more than 15 Premier League goals. I said he's not. I'm curious how many he has now.
I mean, he was out for a long time.
Right. No, I know. So that plays into it.
He has to wear his jersey on the podcast backwards, so his name is shown.
But
Jesus.
Martinelli has 14 Prem goals. He scored his 14th today.
That's not bad, bro.
Does he deserve a starting position in the Brazil national team?
I think he plays the same wing as Vinicius.
No.
So that's tough. Maybe if he plays on the other wing.
Yeah, Rodrigo.
They're very wing heavy right now. You have Anthony.
You got
Vinicius.
Anthony too. We got a guy that can't cross and pass.
He can turn in circles.
You be shifty.
I like Anthony.
Hate.
I like Anthony. He's a good player.
If I was Anthony's coach,
90 million though.
If I was Anthony's coach, I would try to rework him into an 8.
An 8? Man, he doesn't do the defensive work for that.
I think it's his first year. I think he's doing a good job for his first year.
No, I'm being a United fan.
Yeah.
But I don't like that he can't cross and he can't pass.
Ajax committed robbery there.
They're
Ajax robbed United. 95 million for him?
Oh my God, in the night. Like a thief in the night. Yeah, they shown him.
I mean,
give it up.
Ten Hag,
and then we ruined the market.
He's young.
He's young.
He's young.
But you know why it was so much more? Is because they waited till the end of the summer. Ten Hag wanted him from the beginning.
And Ten Hag coached him, trust him, so it's that's my player.
So and they're like, nah.
They dragged it out for the whole summer. And
we're gonna glaze
and the price went up.
We're gonna glaze it.
It was 60.
Like
it was 60 in June. It's 90 in
price.
August. Yeah. Listen, that's the market.
And my thing is, if I know you, if you come to me and say I want this player, cool. If you still want him 6 months from now, price going up. You want him back.
They did that with Sancho also.
Yeah, he sucks. No, I'm playing.
That's just the Glazers.
He played decent yesterday. He didn't play too badly.
Are you Glazers out?
Oh, he's definitely Glazers
out.
He's definitely.
Oh my goodness, I'm Glazers out 1,000%. I often hope they all just decide to sell one day. I was about to say something way more problematic.
You're trying to run up the price though.
Yeah.
How much is United?
Now the Qataris are listen, stop playing these games, bro. This is my last offer. Take it or leave it.
I think they want
guys, wait, please, just wait a little bit. Just keep offering, please. Can't do with this. And then if we get the Qataris, we can steal soccer. I really want soccer.
Steal soccer.
No,
I'm a big fan. He's not going nowhere, man.
Maybe
if we get Kim Kardashian and tell him to come over, he might.
Stop that.
Maybe he'll go to like
You
Madrid.
know he's on the Kardashian wave now. He's an honorary Kardashian. Stay away from that Lamar Odom. I might be coming in like Stephen A. Our first signing was.
Damn. Arsenal really going to win the league this year.
Yo, the last time they won the league, you know what FIFA looked like?
Was that 2004? Was that?
Do you know what FIFA
That was
Invincible
like
year.
Invincible year.
Invincible year,
Oh
yeah.
my gosh, 19 years. Good for Arsenal.
Think about where we were.
Think about how long Liverpool went between winning the title. So
I was 8 years. Damn, Virgil. I was 8 years old the last time they won the league.
Liverpool, they've never won it in the Premier League era.
Yo,
Prior
as
to this.
quiet as it is kept, and he doesn't quiet as it's kept, and he doesn't watch the podcast anyway. It doesn't matter. I'm happy for my dad.
Arsenal
he's
fan?
a huge Arsenal fan. Like,
Yeah.
I bought him an Arsenal hat like some point for Christmas or some shit. He's been wearing that shit more and more. Like, the warmer it gets, the closer up the Jamaica Arsenal jersey gets to the closet. Like, nah, not yet, but I'm wearing it. I can't wait to see him when they win. I'm happy for him. And there's a swath of Jamaican fans that are going to be very happy. I have an old coach that's going to DM me everything about Arsenal on Instagram for the next 6 months because of this now. Friends that I've had for a long time that is going to be hyped about this shit. It's good for the world. It's like the Knicks winning the chip.
yeah, good for the world. Good for the world.
Yeah, it's just good for basketball. It's good for soccer. Man. Good for them something in London.
Watching this first 30 minutes of this Liverpool-Arsenal game, it's apparent that Liverpool's defense is in serious shambles. You know, Virgil's having a horrible game. Is he still a world-class center back? Or has that previous injury that he got? Because he tore his ACL last year.
I've always been super biased.
Or 2 years ago.
So I never thought he was a world-class.
You never thought?
Whoa.
What?
Oh, okay.
I just told you I was being biased.
Yeah.
He plays for Liverpool.
You announced that you were being biased.
I didn't say, like, statistically he's trash. He plays for Liverpool.
No, statistically he's like one of the hardest center backs to beat.
Yeah, absolutely. And if he goes somewhere else, I'll admit that.
You know.
If he goes to West Ham tomorrow, he was one of the greatest center backs of all time in his time.
I think he's focusing on his modeling career now. So.
Oh yeah, the slick back ponytail is
In his countenance.
Well, another part of Liverpool that needs to be revamped, I think we could all agree, is the midfield.
Midfield for sure.
And I want to talk about a certain player in general.
Yeah.
Where we talked about how Liverpool wasn't missing on signings, was very shrewd.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the players they brought in that was supposed to kind of carry over their midfield was Naby Keita over from RB Leipzig.
Yep. Bundesliga.
And I remember me and you talked about it a bunch at the time, and I watched him play a little bit. I've been wrong on players, but watching him, I was like, is this really the guy? Is this like the 60 million? And at the time, 60 million was a little more than it is today.
Yeah.
So I'm like, 60 million? This is the guy we're going for? Like, all right. I hope he transitions well over the Premier League.
You know, his tape in Germany, he was able to push the ball from the midfield and get into the final attacking third.
Yeah,
so he was able to get goals.
I don't know. Always watching him, he was never the guy for me. But he came in, he got the number 8 jersey after Steven Gerrard retired.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, they really believe in this guy.
I wonder how much that was him saying I want number 8. It probably was.
You think so?
Yeah, I don't think the club was just like, Naby, you're getting the number 8 kid. You're going to be the next year. I don't think that was.
Maybe you tell a young kid hey, listen, this has a lot of. This
I
is a lot here.
think that's the selling point for Jude in this upcoming summer.
If they throw him the 8,
I think
Stevie G. Does he give a fuck?
Birmingham, but no, he's from Birmingham. But no, he says he grew up a Stevie G fan. He was a Steven Gerrard fan.
No, that goes a long way, bro.
Yeah, and so you see all these Sky Sports interviews and Steven Gerrard's interviewing Jude.
Because if I'm a Steven Gerrard fan and I get the 8, I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, for Liverpool, the club you support.
I'm him.
It's
that's like me getting the 5 for United. I would dead ass cry.
But if they don't get Jude, I don't want to see the Liverpool number 8 turn into the United 7. Where there's a couple years.
Hold on.
That's valid.
There's a couple years. Where, Ronaldo.
Maria Valencia. No, I said Valencia.
Valencia wore it at one point. He wore it and then took it off.
I didn't hate him, but I liked him without.
He was a super
I
Like,
love Valencia. That's what
he
my favorite
served his
player.
role. He was a part. Yeah,
That
he
blue
just wasn't
jersey with the
with
black
the
thing
V.
with the,
Yeah,
He
that when I
reminded
see
me
the blue
of,
one, I think of
He
him.
reminded me of Ji-Sung Park after Ji-Sung Park.
that's
That
what I'm saying.
versatile
But they're not like
player,
number
did the
7
role.
players. Like that number 7.
No,
went
they definitely got watered
George
down.
Best,
They got watered
Cantona,
down.
Brian Robson,
Ronaldo.
Beckham,
I was told
Cristiano
Real quick,
Ronaldo.
I was told that it's Cantona by an older viewer.
Cantona.
They're like, you young folks don't know how to say Cantona properly. It's Cantona.
Cantona?
I'm saying Cantona.
I was born in 1990.
But-
I'm sorry.
Yeah, in between the time Ronaldo took it and took it back, there's definitely a couple. Michael Owen were at one point.
Michael Owen.
Join him if you can't beat him. He's a nasty guy, bro. We're gonna talk about him in the
But-
summer.
Yeah, I don't want to see that Liverpool number 8 turn.
Turn
into-
All right, so would you retire numbers in soccer? Then? Is that like your? Is that a
So,
sport you can do that?
Soccer is the one sport where you can't retire.
I would
So
not.
the only
It's happened at some
No,
clubs.
it's
I don't
happened.
like
Fiorentina, when their captain passed away in his sleep, Davide Astori, they retired
shit.
his number 13 number.
Yeah.
Well, that's different.
Things like
so there's
that.
certain
Yeah.
circumstances.
Or
for
but
sure.
Jude Bellingham's numbers
Is
retired at Birmingham.
That's a little crazy, but
That's fucking
it
outrageous.
may it may turn out to be the greatest thing
Yeah.
they've ever done if Jude turns out to be the best Englishman.
Yeah, but you're still burning.
Yeah, no.
Well, it's for a reason.
It-
Like he was
No, I get it,
super
but-
young at the time, and
He came from-
he
came from their
re-signed a
academy.
contract with them to
Yeah.
make sure when they sell him, they get more money.
Yeah.
Like
They did.
So-
He did right by that club.
It's
Yeah.
a nod to him. Like, hey, you really
Of course.
kept us afloat.
Kept-
and even like certain places like in Napoli, you can't wear number 10
Oh,
because
yeah,
Maradona
Maradona,
wore
yeah.
number 10.
Oh,
They
You
just
know,
renamed
and
it.
it's like I understand that, but at the same time,
But like, imagine like Barcelona
I still
doing
disagree.
that with Messi.
you disagree? Because
Yeah,
I look at it as like
retired.
Barca with Messi. When you're a young player, you look up to certain players and they inspire you. You kind of want to go to that club and wear that number.
how would you feel about a vote?
From who?
So, like,
No.
coach, the manager, somebody, like, there's a vote, like,
Because
okay,
they changed
so
it
this player
frequently.
get the whatever.
And if I was a player too who wore
Or a
that
fan
number,
vote. How
but I'm
about a
asking
fan
if you
vote?
were like a great center back who wore number 5 for United, you
If
wouldn't
center
want
back
like
is-
the next great
Yeah,
center back to
absolutely.
continue that lineage.
But
and
I'm
that's kind
coming
of like
off of like loving Ferdinand and loving Puyol and like 5 being my
Right.
first number. So like if I wore that, I'd be like, yo, absolutely the next kid that loved 5. Worse if you were like, yo, I grew up a Brandon, bro, hold that 5.
of course.
Absolutely.
So
Do it justice. Like
So
There's-
I don't
retiring
believe,
a number.
I think
It's
soccer
very
is more of a
situational.
sport
It's
where
very
like
situational.
numbers are transferred and they mean more than in any other sport.
and
Like,
especially because
Definitely.
1 through 11 are the biggest numbers in soccer.
yeah, like
Like
They-
originally,
and
the
then we
starting
always have,
lineup
like-
had to wear 1 through 11. That was the point.
But we literally
Certain
have
numbers.
like lists, like yo, who are the best number 10s? Who are the best number 7s?
Mhm.
We refer to the position, so that I can never be a 10 because I play for this team. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it's like retiring for national. That would be crazy. Imagine
Oh.
a national team retiring. Pele just passed. Imagine they retired the 10. That's crazy. I'm sorry.
The numbers in soccer hold a lot more.
Yeah,
Yeah,
numbers
numbers-
mean a lot more in soccer than they do. Like basketball has what? A number that means something.
Well, they're
23.
23.
What else really matters?
I mean, 8-24. Again, that's also like a
Yeah, but like the
tragic
Memphis
situation.
Grizzlies aren't gonna
They'll retire Johnson.
retire 8 or 24. You know what I'm saying? Like it
Right.
doesn't carry as much. Nobody's gonna see like, damn, yo, he's number 8. Like he might be Froby. Even if you get number 8 for the Lakers now, what are you, Rui Hachimura? Like it doesn't mean anything really. They throw it up in the rafters, cool, but like I don't think it carries as much weight in any other sport than it does in soccer. Like we're really like this is a generational.
It's a
number.
legacy thing.
Yeah,
But it's also a legacy thing in American sports as well, why they retire numbers. But it's in a different way.
Yeah, they
It's a
retire
different
like
way.
this guy was great. Like
Like
what-
kids,
like-
kids in Brazil and Sao Paulo are looking up to that number 10 number,
oh shit.
thinking that they're gonna try and fill those shoes.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, yo, I remember, like, I was on the U10s when Ron or whoever the fuck was on the U16s.
Mhm.
I remember that, and like, I was like, yo, you're gonna get this number, and I was like, you think so? You're like, there's like, I don't know. I feel like there's way more to it than soccer.
So what was your number? Was 5?
5,
5 all the time. That
5
was,
from
that
I
was
was
the number
from
one.
I started to every time I had a choice, I was 5. I went to a showcase team and I was 11. I went to a different team and I had to be 6. Freshman year of high school, I had to be 15. No, freshman year of high school, I had to be 55.
Whoa.
And then the coach was like, "Oh, my bad."
That's like
and then
Trent
I got to
wearing
be
66.
15. oh, Trent's tight because he sucks.
No, they were just button heads. There was
And I was
fight.
25. Anything with 5, and then we got new kids, and I finally got to be the 5. But number 5 was like a small, so I took 10 senior year as a center back. But I was the captain, so you used to tell me that.
Yeah, I know that.
Me.
What was your number?
21.
Your ideal number? Like, if you could pick anything, you wanted to wear 21?
Yeah, because it had meaning for me.
We have a flash of you in a nice 21 in the last podcast.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, we do.
Nice, okay. Yeah, no, I like 21. It's,
Would you like to share the meaning behind it or not?
It's just the day I was born. I was born
right.
June 21st. So if I always had the choice, because I mean, obviously I would want number 7 or 10, but those weren't always available. So if it was at 21, just because it meant something.
Right.
Mo Salah.
7 or 10?
Ooh,
No.
2-1.
If I had to pick, I'm going 7. I'm CR7. So.
CR7.
I feel you. What was your number?
I like 10. I never really got it.
Shocking. Liked it.
But eventually, I moved to 14. 14 became
Really?
Yeah,
Is that
14
What
became.
about like? What do you just like how it looked on the jersey or?
I always thought it was because of TT Henry,
Tiali?
but I don't know if that's accurate.
Oh, you just like made that assumption?
Nah.
I just assumed, yeah.
Nah, that wasn't it.
Oh, because you didn't even really get to watch him like that, right?
Nah.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched by the time I started.
No, but I mean
14,
like in real time.
You know
Yeah.
what number
Whoa,
14
I'm
represented
mesmerized by
for
this.
Yeah.
Thierry.
No, well, my
14 like
my
regulars.
older cousin wore the 14, so.
Oh, okay, big homie.
And when I got to college, certain sizes were
Huge.
like numbers were certain sizes. So like the
Yeah.
number 10 was like a double XL. So
Yeah,
it's
I
like,
hate
what?
that so
Yeah.
much.
That's ridiculous.
That's what was the
But
case
14
with
was a medium.
21.
So
Yeah,
out of the numbers that were medium,
Yeah.
14 was my
I
favorite.
wore 11 in college because I had to switch out of 21 just because I looked like such an idiot.
Yeah.
You just cut it in half, though, really.
So I'm wearing a dress underneath my shorts.
I think the 5 though. I think my first jersey I ever got was 5, and then like I was watching soccer and I'm like, whoa, Ferdinand's 5. Oh, Puyol's 5, and then like I started
You
winning
saw
my
the-
center backs and they're all 5, and I'm like, yeah, we 5.
You
That's
know,
what we do.
Ibu Kouyate, Liverpool center back, he wears 5.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
Yeah.
Didn't look up to that.
You can watch it now though.
But anything else like other than the 5, everything else in terms of like how I looked on the field was absolutely Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah. Oh, I tried to
Ankle
I
socks.
copied his hairstyle. I tried to dribble
Yeah,
like
I couldn't get that one.
well,
Yeah.
I had to give him
Well,
away.
that was a little challenging. I
Yeah,
guess.
Couldn't get that one. I've seen some people try it. I've definitely seen it. Like I remember there's times where you played like Spanish teams in the summer, like we played in
oh, yeah, that was
Corona
never.
Park.
That
we
was
played in the league over there. Bro,
The mullet
Forward,
crazy out here.
through, goalie, the mullet, the spikes, and I'm like, yo, I'm hating.
Yeah.
It's just mad cool. Like if you do it right, you got the whole. You look mad cool, so I'm not gonna hold you, bro. I'm gonna lock you up, but you look cool.
I used to show a picture of Ronaldo in my barber and be like, do your
Do
best.
that.
You came to do that. It never turned out.
Get out
that
of
way.
here. I think I want my money back.
I should have drove to the Bronx, bro. Got a Dominican barber.
Yo, I would go to Spring Valley with my buddy Edwin. And we'd go,
Damn, still no. Jeez, bro.
I had some funny hairstyles.
That was the cut for a while though.
Yeah,
That was the cut.
I like
for
the
a-
headband. I grew my hair out in college and I rocked the
Oh,
headband.
you rocked the headband?
I had a man bun. My roommate had to sit me down and be like, you gotta cut the man bun. It's not working.
We've all talked.
Yeah.
The team came together.
No, we had a house meeting. It's you or the bun.
Yeah, true story.
Like you can move out or the man bun can move out. It's either one.
That really hurt. But good times.
Nah, I've had my fair share of bad. My worst one, I had the mohawk in high school, and I was like, I thought like I had a soccer player haircut, and I was holding on to that shit.
Was it
I almost got detention for it.
not like Mr. T Mohawk? What we
Nah,
talking?
it was like a high. So like I had an afro,
Yeah.
and then I cut it down, so I had it like this basically, and then the sides are shaved, and it was just like an afro going back. It looked alright, but like looking back, I'm like, bro, that was-
Experimental.
I came into college with that actually.
Wait, they
Freshman
made
year.
you cut it in high school?
No, they thought they were gonna make me cut it.
Damn.
He's like, no, the sides can't be too light. And I was like, yeah, I'm not. This is my haircut, bro.
Dress code?
Yeah, I had a uniform. I went to a religious school.
Yeah.
And then the funny enough, the pastor at the school was like, "You're not cutting that shit, bro. I'm like, what do you do?"
So every week I have to make time to speak about the GOAT. But
Ronnie?
Last weekend in a loss for PSG, the fans were booing Messi.
Because he's so
Well, I mean, he didn't play well.
Has he been playing well all season? I think he's had maybe he had a good start, but since the World Cup?
I was gonna say I saw a compilation of like
since the World Cup. You think he's just fallen into complacency?
12 chances that he's created, and Mbappe is just thrown away, and no one cares because it's that week, so you don't really see it. But like Mbappe's missing sitters that Messi's putting in, to be fair. But they're never gonna blame Mbappe anyone in France.
Nah, not at all. But there was some like former French national team players like saying. Like, kind of lambasting the fans for saying, like, you shouldn't boo Messi. You have no right to boo Messi. Yeah. And I think Henri as well was saying the same
you don't
sentiment.
Boo greats?
What?
You don't boo greats? Like, they're saying you shouldn't boo a great?
Yeah. And to me, it's playing bad. Yeah. I look at it that way of, no one's unbooable.
They never been to Ghana.
And that
yeah, I was gonna say, as people who support the New York Knicks, it's like everyone, you won't get booed if you're not playing.
That's New
York.
York.
He got booed in the Garden a couple times.
New York's not Paris, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely not.
But
But do you think this is just like? I feel like the final nail in the coffin for Messi's PSG time has been put in like 5 times already.
Right on the wall. Every week there's a report that comes out that's like, hey, we think he's going to Barca, and then Barca puts out a report like, he's probably going to come. Messi's like, yeah, I'm kind of want to pull. He's going to Barcelona, bro. Like, this is sealed.
How old is he now? 36?
Does Barca go to the
I think 35
Champions League and win next year?
That'd be tight.
Young Messi?
But before we talk about Barca, Messi's been at PSG. This is his second or third year.
This is the third year, I believe. Second or third?
Gotta be the third.
I think he's finishing up his third year.
His third year. So how would you sum up his time at PSG? Because at this point, the most he could just win is another league.
Again, like
PSG,
how do you sum up anybody's time?
I don't count winning the league for them.
That's what I mean.
Right. So
it's
the
like,
ultimate end goal for PSG is to win the Champions League. And
right.
Every superstar they brought in has not been able to do that.
Right.
Zlatan, Neymar, Kylian Mbappe,
Messi.
Now, they're just not. They don't have that mentality to win, to get above that finish line. Maybe it has something to do with the fact that they just buy everybody. They're trying to buy the Champions League, but there's just some part of like they always fall apart. Like United shot win a couple of years back when they came back. What was it like 5-4? It was a crazy game. We were in college during this.
Yeah.
I think Kim literally sent me a video from Snapchat of me reacting to that
game. It was so
like
crazy.
The other day.
PSG
I was like in our living room, just like jumping.
So they lack the mentality, what it takes to be winners in the big
I think
stage.
they don't have that club culture of Champions League winning.
Right, because it's all artificial. I think Man City is in the same category. I don't want to see Man City win it, but if Man City do win it, that kind of like nails Pep's legacy as one of the best managers of all time. But I don't think they have that, what it takes to be Champions League winners.
Really?
Because they don't have that mentality yet. Maybe they show us this year that they can do it. But for them to lose to Tottenham, that should have been a City Liverpool final. I mean, come on. That Man City team that year, it was the year Liverpool won the final. That just VAR played a role in that too. But
okay. Real quick though, like off topic, this is something you mentioned. Just kind of had the wheels turning. Where do you what class of player do you put Ibrahimovic in? Because he's very entertaining, and I think that kind of plays up a lot. But he's also effective, and he's a goal scorer. And he for a long time, it was like when I go to a team, we win the league.
He's one of the best center forwards of all time.
I'd agree.
I agree with that.
I mean, the only thing he hasn't won is the Champions League, but he's won the league in like every country.
Place
until he came to United, he could say, every league I went to, I won that like the season I got.
No, he won with Mourinho though. They didn't win the league, but they
still
won
silverware.
Yeah.
No.
That's what I mean.
But like he literally said, like if you want to win the league, bring me in. I will win that.
He was class until he tore his ACL. Sadly,
class after that, bro.
And he was in his upper 30s at that time.
Yeah. I just want to make sure we agreed on that because I know some people that like don't really count him as like
a great.
Oh,
Yeah.
nah.
They see him as like a character.
No, he's up there with Messi and Ronaldo.
I think so too, but they see him as a character. I think kind of by his own
doing
a little bit.
For sure. His personality outweighs his ability on the field,
I
which is
love
crazy.
At this point in his career.
I loved
Or even like the last 5 to 7 years, you'd say that his talking.
Well,
in
the
the
last
third
5 to
person.
7 years, he was 36.
Right,
5 years ago,
That's
yeah.
what I'm saying. That's what I'm
Right.
saying. His personality in that our recent memory of him. But like if you go to Zlatan from the 2010 eras, that man was
Earlier than that, if you
lethal,
start from
of course.
Juventus,
even his time at
Ajax,
I was about to say, you go back
Ajax.
further than that.
Yeah.
go to Malmo.
Alright.
Yeah,
Alright, Grandpa.
I mean, I thought that's what we were doing.
I just wanted to make sure we was agreed on
Yeah,
that.
no, definitely. Zlatan's going to be remembered as one of the greatest of all time.
As he should.
Yeah, PSG legend. PSG.
Yeah, he is.
But
Legend shit.
over in PSG with Messi, Al Hilal, Al Nasser's biggest rival, it apparently has an offer for $438 million
A year.
for Lionel Messi. If you're Messi, are you taking that?
2 goats in the Camel League.
I think that's his next move. I do.
Really?
I do.
Really?
I thought it was Miami until this preview. He was like an ambassador for Qatar at the World
I'll
Cup.
put bread up that he goes
So
to
I
Barca.
think he's already signed on the low that
A
he's
preliminary, like,
he's
yo,
going
set it up.
438.
I think
Yo,
so.
if that's the
That's
case, we going to Saudi Arabia to see the 2 goats
No.
before they start playing?
Good.
Nah.
I mean,
no,
if they take it
sir.
on a tour, we'll go somewhere else. Saudi Arabia trying to make it like a tourist state.
Yeah, I mean it's great. I'm sure like the game is so popular with the younger generations there, and like the people of Saudi Arabia are different than the governments. But
At the same
it's
time,
good for the league.
it's good for the league,
good
but
for
I
the
don't
It's
think
definitely good for the league.
it's
If
crazy
they-
that you could have arguably 2 of the greatest soccer players ever in the league, and I don't think it would progress the league forward
in terms of skill.
on a
in
global scale.
in terms of everything. I don't think that many people are checking for like old man Ronaldo and old man Messi rivalry in that
You
league.
gotta relax. I'm offended by it.
I think you might be off topic
Are you-
Me too.
or
Off.
off point on that. Like
Yeah,
that's
really?
not. Yeah.
You don't. You
I don't
think
think
people
you
are
have
going to
your
start
pulse.
watching all halal games to watch Messi?
You don't have your finger on the pulse of like the people like that.
I think Messi and Ronaldo
like the
are
common, just like
icons.
the general consensus. Like people still care about this product.
When Ronaldo,
Okay, that's fair.
So,
I've
yeah,
never
so
seen
I'm
more
putting it out
posts
there.
about the Saudi league than
So-
I have. I've never seen
Maybe
any posts about the
posts?
Saudi league.
If maybe
Can
little
you pull up
clips.
how many followers
Are you watching like?
Ronaldo's team has? Because
Yeah.
before he joined,
Yeah,
they
it
had
was
like
a couple
500,000.
100,000. Yeah,
Now they have
I hear
18
that.
million.
That's
Like,
Instagram followers, but I'm talking
Right.
about actually watching the games and
yeah.
spending money. Or, like,
14.2 million followers.
Yeah.
at any point,
All-
are either of you trying to buy an Al Nasser Cristiano Ronaldo jersey?
Yo, it's not an ugly jersey. I was actually just looking at
It
the
looks
white
like
with the gold trim. It's not an ugly jersey. Like, it's kind of tough.
Yeah.
If you just
You
like
got it,
jerseys
full
and you like
price?
Ronaldo, I dead with copy.
I
Yeah,
like.
Absolutely, the
Okay.
jersey's fine.
All right, I'm just really asking you guys questions.
And then
Yeah,
that's my
yeah.
thing. You don't be on
So, you
social
guys-
media like that, bro. There's posts about this league every day, every week. Like every time he does something, it's posted. I've
got-
never
he's got
seen
a
a
couple
post about the
hat-tricks.
Saudi league before. He's there, and I see one at least 3 times a week.
And
That's fair, but I'm saying like does the league take it anywhere after this? Because this kind of reminds me of China. At one point, they were spending all these money, bringing in big players, whatever, and like there was a little buzz at the time. Obviously, no one as big as Messi or Ronaldo, but I think we can see after the
But I know,
fact
I remember-
it didn't sustain the
Well,
league.
because-
But because with China, you hear people are going, and then you don't hear anything about them again.
Well, also, it was on the order of the Chinese government. They wanted to fund football in China, so they authorized all these companies, teams to buy all these outside players.
Mhm.
And then when they realized that, wait, this isn't what we want to do, they shut it down and they pulled all the funding. That's why you saw all these Chinese owners buying clubs all across Europe. It was at the order of the Chinese government. And then when that stops, you see the destruction has
So
took
you
place.
see this like helping bring other talent to the league.
I think
If-
it helps
if
shine
the
some
two
light
are
on
there.
talent in the league because I've watched Ronaldo highlights and been like, all right, this player over here is not bad.
So
Like,
even just on Ronaldo's
Objectively
team,
speaking.
Anderson Talisca, the Brazilian center forward, he was a top talent, 5, 6, 7 years ago, and then he decided to go to China, and now he's in Saudi Arabia.
So he's chasing
Still-
the bag.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
He's chasing
he's
the
trying to
bag.
change his
But to
financial
his,
situation.
to his credit, I've only ever seen Brazilian players that go to China when they ask them, like, oh, why would you? They're like, I don't think you understand like poverty. Right?
Yeah.
I'm never gonna go back to that. And this is gonna confirm. This is gonna like make sure that kids.
My kids.
So
kids,
I don't care about what
kids,
you're saying.
Kids
right?
are gonna be good.
I don't know. I don't think you've ever like not had anything to eat. Like you've never been there, so you can't ask me that.
So that's why, like for Messi, I don't think he's turning down that money. Ronaldo didn't turn down the money. I mean, they don't need the money.
They don't, but it's a lot of money.
I mean, they've accomplished everything else there is to accomplish.
And they're clearly very accommodating. Ronaldo's not supposed to be living with his girl. Doesn't matter. Like he's breaking the law.
Because they're not technically married.
Yeah,
I mean, they got like kids together, so I'm sure there's like some exceptions.
Nah, he's
I
not
don't,
supposed to be living with.
I don't know Saudi.
The kid was just like, don't worry about it. Like, I'm not about to from bro to bro. I'm not about to let you throw a ring on something. You don't throw a ring on my boy. I feel you. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm sure Ronaldo's like, my God, come on.
Yeah.
Come on. Man. You know how much you paying me. You think I want to give her 50%? Come on now. But nah, if Messi goes, I think it blows the league up crazy. Because Messi still has a lot of status out here.
Yeah, he always.
Remember, Ronaldo, you're saying old man Ronaldo, old man Messi. Messi's still Messi. So is Ronaldo.
No, Ronaldo's still Ronaldo. I hear that. But yeah, I guess I'm just speaking more from my perspective. I'm not going to watch their Clasico.
Do you think Chelsea wish they had?
I mean, even watching their highlights on YouTube is a lot more than they've had before.
Yeah, like, of course I would do that.
Because I watch a lot of the highlights.
That's what I'm saying. But, like, bringing in full games, people watching full games, I don't know.
I'd watch
what channel is that
Messi
on?
if Al Hilal was playing Al Nasser, I'd watch. Because I know Messi. It's the Messi Ronaldo Clasico.
Yeah, I'm not watching.
That's you.
Tune out. Yeah. So,
I think there's 50 million people that would absolutely do this.
Yeah, I'm so interested to see.
They played a friendly. PSG played out in Nazir a couple weeks ago.
And I watched it.
Yeah.
I
watched some of that because I thought, that might be the last one
We just found a game where you would watch Al Nasser. That quick. And you said I'm not watching
one. I mean, I didn't watch the actual game. I watched like the highlights. Like
it was like
the 20 minute
I watched
highlights.
20 minute. That means I watched.
Yeah, I'm interested. I want to see what impact he has on that league. What it's gonna bring in.
Yeah.
Because even like when you look at a player like Beckham, he did a lot for Major League Soccer, but at the same time, obviously Messi and Ronaldo are different level to Beckham.
I would have loved to see
biggest
Messi
fraud
go
in
to
soccer.
the MLS. I really thought he was going to go to Miami at one point, just because it was. Just
I thought he had equity in it, but I guess I was wrong. That's what it was. That's what all the articles were saying.
That's probably what they were offering him.
Yeah.
But
such is life. I guess we won't see him in America unless Al Hilal or Al Nasser is doing a tour.
I don't know. I mean, I could see Messi does like Miami. How could you not like
Everybody likes Miami.
No, it'd be interesting to see what happens with his the end of his career. Apparently, Ronaldo was close to joining Sporting Kansas City in the MLS.
Oh,
that was the rumor. Yeah.
Cristiano Ronaldo in Kansas?
That's why it didn't happen. Well, Kansas City, but yeah.
Kansas City?
They were the closest MLS
Missouri?
team. Yeah, they were in contact with him. His representatives.
Middle America, Ronaldo.
That's why it didn't happen.
What?
There was no other team that could have called.
That's what I'm saying. LA didn't have no idea. Isn't it like 4 teams in LA right now?
Again, it could just be Kansas City trying to toot their own horn and say, "Yeah, we almost got Ronaldo."
Yeah, go ahead and toot, but I'm not believing that, brother. That's crazy. Imagine Ronaldo living in Missouri.
That's why I don't think it happened. Because he probably
you that Ronaldo boy, ain't you? Good old Ronald. How you doing, Ronald? That's his new name.
No disrespect to any Missouri viewers out there.
Shout out to Missouri, bro. Mizzou, we out here. Big Evans. Still though. Come on, bro. Y'all, it's cold. Y'all like the cold. He's from Portugal. Why would you go? That's like him going to Blackburn. For what? For what? To do what? Does Upstate have an MLS team?
Jamie Vardy owns a team in Rochester, but it's not an MLS team. No.
Jamie Vardy?
Yeah.
I know, I think it's second division though.
Rochester Rhinos, I think it's called.
How do we find that place?
That's a good question.
That's like such an obscure place for someone from England to go, I'm about this.
In Rochester, New York.
Imagine his girl is just like, yo, my brother plays with this. It's like a Christmas gift. I don't even know what they do, but I don't know. I gotta look into that. How did this man find Rochester, New York?
Yeah.
Like, what?
Any of y'all hear about that player in France that got dropped for Ramadan?
Yeah.
Xenophobia.
I mean, most Salah's doing the same thing right now.
No, everybody fast.
Yeah.
This is like a common thing. This has been our entire life. All the players
But
fast.
to drop a player for that?
Yeah, that's aggressive.
That's...
I mean, he was also in the only league that didn't pause for them to break their fast, which is a little aggressive.
I don't know. I mean...
Trying to make a point in France over there.
Everybody's entitled to their own opinions and beliefs.
But it was interesting because the coach said he dropped him because
he had a rule that you don't fast on game days.
Yeah.
But is that not a very pointed rule?
That's valid, though. If team rule, you violated the rule, you're not going to play.
But is that not a pointed rule? How would you know
so you think
outside of the season of
all
Ramadan?
team rules are just good to go?
I mean, some are dumb.
Well, no, rules are rules, though.
Right, but if there's a rule in place that everybody that's a part of this
but I think that one is a directed rule.
Well, it depends. If the coach comes up with the rule.
How do you know that I'm fast? If it's not Ramadan, how do you know that I fasted today?
You probably have to eat at the canteen or whatever.
I ate at home.
I don't even know.
He's not watching.
I don't know if you're allowed to do that.
Ate on game day. And
because you have a nutritionist at big clubs or whatever.
I never ate before games. If we got a 10 o'clock game, I'm not eating until after the game. We got a 12 o'clock game, I'm eating after the game.
Yeah,
I don't like to eat before game.
I wonder how that works because if you have a team nutritionist that tells you, you were eating the wrong things before the games. You have to eat before games until you have to eat this, this, and this. I wonder what happens. I wonder what happens at the club when you're like, no, I'm not doing that.
Probably get fined.
Tell the nutritionist no.
Get dropped.
Real quick, this is kind of nasty, but it might be nasty. What's the most uncomfortable you've ever been on the field? Like you're playing and like it's just like I gotta like use the bathroom or like I feel sick or whatever. Like I had the worst one ever was like night and day difference for me. Like the first half, I really had these bad. It was like middle school soccer. And I was like, yo, like my coach was like yelling. He's like, yo, you're not even running. I was
yeah.
Coach, like I had to talk about that bathroom. Went to the school, made it happen, and then we won.
I always try to be as light on my feet as possible. If you know what I mean.
There you go. There you go. Game, but remember, it's middle school soccer, so I'm coming straight from school on the bus, and there's a lot going on. What about you? Never had to pee on the field and just left?
Nah, I was always good at taking care of that stuff before the games. Right. And I was always super nervous. Like, growing up, we went to a lot of tournaments, right? Like, all day outside. And
Isn't it funny like you never had to really use the bathroom back then? I guess you sweat a lot.
Yeah, but a lot of them, like, the only bathrooms would be porta potties.
Yeah,
that's I did not want to be inside of those at any moment, so I was always, like, very careful of making sure.
I remember I was at one tournament and every kid was peeing behind it. I'm just like, guys, what are we doing? It's right there. Why are we being like,
oh, man.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't agree with him getting dropped for that. I feel like it's very directed. I mean, but if it's, it's a rule, it's a rule.
Did you have any... Sorry to cut you off like that.
No, it's all good.
But did you have any team rules that you broke?
No.
Was there like
I mean, yeah, there was like in college freshman year, our coach tried to implement a no smoking during the season, which I tried, but once I saw everybody else wasn't, and I was the only one that was still trying to abide by it, I'm like, all right, this is stupid. Yeah. No, we're not. So, they thought, oh, we're going to drug test you and all that, but why? And it never happened, so... Yeah,
oh, so you risked the possibility of being drug tested.
Yeah, I did. I wasn't the only one though. So
with the team rule thing, I'm cool. Like if it's a team rule, I'm cool with it. Like for the most part, like I don't really care.
Yeah, like I wouldn't.
That's the rule. That's the rule.
I wouldn't drink before a game or something
rules,
like that.
Like you can't go out before a game on an away trip.
Yeah, I actually don't care about that. I agree with it. I don't mind.
Yeah,
we're here to do something. We're not here to go out. Like,
yeah,
that's fine. But like,
you're just gonna stay in your hotel room.
Yes. Right. But like, why is that crazy?
Mm-hmm. No, I'm just asking.
But I feel like if it's a crazy rule, like you can't. I don't even know. Like you can't see a girl or something before. It's just like something stupid. I'm just like, why? If it's anything that makes me ask why, it's gonna be hard to adhere to it.
I know they do that during the World Cup.
What?
Because you're in a different country, at some point it's like you have time to see your family, and then the rest of the time, I think like most clubs it's like you're just with the team.
But that's fine.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Like I would tell my wife and kids, like, hey, we're all from the same country. You want me to win the World Cup, right? I'm not gonna see you for the next month. You be alright.
Duty calls.
We're all from the same. This helps all of us right now. Like, you'll be fine. I'll be right back. Like, you're in the country, you're just not staying. But such is life. I don't know. Team. Have you ever broken any team rules or not agreed with any or tried to buck back against any?
I'm trying to think. No, honestly, I felt like most of the team rules were pretty reasonable.
That's the thing. Like, if it's a reasonable rule, like, just follow it. Like,
Yeah.
it's because if it's a reasonable rule, it's usually for the betterment of the team. So,
Right.
like, let's just follow it.
But people in college, they just think, oh, we gotta go out. We can't miss this crazy party. Oh,
Nah,
yeah.
I wanted to win more than that. So if it was like something I thought would help
To
us
each their
win,
own, yeah.
yeah. If you told us,
That's the thing.
yeah. Anything
Whatever
that
it
I
is
thought would
to
help us
win,
win, I was all for.
Yeah.
I'll do it as long as it's to win. And if I have to ask you why, and the coach can connect the dots to me, why that's a reason or that'll lead to us winning, I'm on board. The middle coach for the United game was like a huge Newcastle fan. Just like pictures of him in a bar, sloshed, with a pint in his hand with the Newcastle jersey on, surrounded by Newcastle fans.
I mean, what do you do as a? I mean, Howard Webb was a huge United fan.
No, it wasn't. You can't do that. He's a club legend, but you can't do that.
Well, the 12th man.
Listen, he's part of the starting 11. He put some respect on that man's name. Club legend. Leyenda. Pedro, it's about that time, guys.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you guys want to touch on before we finish up?
It's gonna be.
I think we said it
It's
all.
been an interesting year. It's been a good season so far. Nobody thought Arsenal was gonna win it, but they haven't done it yet. They haven't done it yet.
I found 2 movies I'm gonna watch later. So
Yeah, no, this was good. I'm happy to be a part of the team.
You should probably.
yes, absolutely. It's great to have you here, Mel.
Yes,
Honestly.
welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome
Well,
aboard.
This was fun.
Going forward, it's gonna be very fun to have you, us, Juan,
Yeah.
just Kenny putting it, come jumping in. It's gonna be lit. But as I say every week, if you're still here, thank you. If you're here at all, thank you. If you're watching right now, thank you. You don't gotta be here. You could be anywhere else, but you're with us, and we appreciate it. We love you for it. You guys are the best. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, all that beautiful, good stuff. Anything from my fellow co-hosts here?
Keep doing what you're doing.
Till next time.
Stay
We're gonna have a
black,
full house next week and be some hot debates for sure.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to fight next week. I got a lot of texts about me and Nick last week, so might bring that back. We got it.